America is ran through a pyramid scheme-looking system of worker bugs. Well, more so worker ants. I mean, some bugs actually fight back sometimes, you know? Ants just do what they're programmed to do. And with the world being mostly filled up with these ant colonies being controlled by these other bugs, who don't really work all that hard and reap in the majority of the rewards, but somehow they'll consistently convince the ants that if they work hard enough and ignore the obvious, they can one day become these confident bugs instead of these worker ants. Well, unfortunately misleading, that's just not really how Mother Nature works. And do you see the analogy of here in America, how that kind of fits? Well, if you personally feel like you relate to anything discussing this type of topic or anything discussing the crumbling society around you, then don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, opinions below, and subscribe to see my daily uploads around here discussing topics just like this. Now, let's begin today's shit show, shall we?
Someone told me to watch this clip.
Was that ant that stood up to me?
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss, they're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
Well, how about this?
Wow. They put this in a children's film, huh?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all
This
might
is important.
stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber
This is
us
actually
100 to
about
1.
tyranny.
And if
This
they
is
ever
what's
figure that
happening now.
out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
I would show this clip in my class. You let one ant stand up to them, and they might all stand up. You see the power of solidarity? The power of all of us together? Individually, we feel helpless, lonely, often frightened. Together, nothing can stop us. No tyrant can rule us. No dictator can demand from us subservience. Together, we're powerful.
Now, this scene was from a Disney movie that came out in 1998 called A Bug's Life, and it kind of shows the tyranny of what is a, corrupt system that is kind of realistic to what happens in modern day in many different circumstances. And I was born in 1999, so even watching this growing up, I was kind of the demographic of kids watching this in like the, early, late 2000s. And even back then, I thought how crazy this, how woke this whole thing kind of was for a Disney movie. But at the same time, the older I get, and now seeing clips like this be kind of more put out into the world, and now we kind of like look back on some of these scenes, it's like, wow. It's almost like they're just spitting it right in our face, It's almost like what's really going on is just already been known for years and years and years, and it's almost like all these concepts we touch on here on my channel are nothing new, and any solution that we can find, there really has never been a solution, so who knows if there ever really will be one. Now, what do you guys think about this whole scene here? I definitely do think it has many different, aspects of reality, as well as maybe kind of a push towards a negative mindset on it, because I don't know if this is the real reality, just the reality that we face when we're in these crippling scenarios like the worker ants. But who knows? Maybe the grasshoppers are who are really in charge in modern day. But I also think it really goes to show on the difference between how the worker ants and the grasshoppers view reality, being that the grasshoppers actually know what the true reality is, versus the worker ants just know the reality they've been taught and they've been told. And whatever they've been sold and they bought without knowing the other options to buy, they just have been eating it all up and trying to get by the way they can, not realizing they're kind of in this tyrannical system where they really don't have any control at all. The control, the freedom they have is just kind of a warped reality. It's kind of like a simulation,
You ever realize how they've trained us to just be grateful for surviving? Grateful for a job that doesn't even cover the groceries? Grateful for this so-called freedom that even if we're chained to all these credit scores and rent hikes? Grateful for this opportunity that only exists if you sell your soul or your time? They don't want us asking why this shit's so hard. They want us blaming ourselves. But here's the part they don't want you to understand. The system only works because we keep logging in, clocking in, and buying in. And yeah, people always say, you'll never get everybody on the same page. But that's exactly why this digital revolution matters. We don't need to meet in the streets to move as one. We've got the internet, we've got voices, we've got cameras, we've got platforms, we've got reach, we've got each other. And if enough of us speak the same truth at the same time, it's not rebellion, it's reality. They can't silence a million posts, they can't shadow ban a movement, they can't ignore a generation that's finally waking up. This isn't about violence, it's about visibility. It's not about burning things down. It's about building something better. We don't need permission. We just need connection. And that starts right here. So here's the challenge. If this system has ever broken you, if you've ever been overworked, taken advantage of, underpaid, ignored, or left behind, stitch this. Please tell your story. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes, because your voice might just be the spark that lights someone else's fire. We've suffered in silence long enough. It's time to speak loud, proud, and together. This is the digital revolution, and it starts with us.
Now, that is also another common sentiment I get in many of the videos, many comments I get on my videos, where it's like, well, Josh, not everybody is struggling. I mean, there are people that have made a way to figure it out, or, you know, this country's not totally fucked. Well, at the same time, that is true, and there definitely is, you know, the scapegoat. But I definitely do want to put into perspective exactly the, you know, point I've been touching on a few different videos of survivorship bias, where, yeah, there are those few people that do make it out. There is that small percentage. But when the overwhelming majority of people are consistently struggling, and it only seems like the struggle gets more and more severe in more and more different sectors or factors or realms of life, it's hard to just, you know, shut up, zip our lips, and just throw away the key and be quiet about it. People are not going to necessarily throw a whole revolution because they know it's not going to happen. They're going to end up in jail, and, you know, like, they can't just walk out of their job because not everybody's going to throw on, not everybody in their job, in their department, in their facility is going to go on strike with them. They're just going to get fired, and then they're going to get replaced, most likely by somebody who's willing to work harder and get paid less. So, you know, it takes a collective of ants to really overthrow the system, and that it does kind of feel like now with these different social media things, there is more of a, you know, way to spread your message. I mean, imagine trying to spread your message about a corrupt company that you work for way back when there was no social media. You can't just get fired, go in your car in the parking lot still with your uniform still on, throw up your phone and complain about the corruptness that just happened to you. No one would know. Would you just have to, like, write a letter, and then the people that are in cahoots with the people that are in charge of the company, because they're all making money together, they probably would just silence your message anyway. So now there is more of a structured way to get our messages out here through social media, through these online atmospheres. But at the same time, it really takes a whole collective of people to really rise up and make this stance known. And even at that case, it only takes a overwhelming majority of people to really care about it to make any sort of change.
It's all a scam. It is all a scam. You go to work 40 hours a week. You stay at work more than you do at home. Then they expect for you to come home and nurture your home, nurture your children, make sure that your mental health is okay, be a good wife, be a good mother, be a good steward, read your Bible, all of that. Honestly, they make you so dependent on money because they know that you need things. They know that you need your lights. They know that you need your water. They know that you need housing. They know that you need food. So what do? They reward you with money for the things that you already need. And I understand that you have to work. I get that part. But why do it have to be so tedious? Like, it is a scam when I'm thinking about things like how you just have to get up in the morning and repeat the same cycle. Like, there's no break in between where you can actually be happy. Yeah, they may give you 40 hours in 1 year to take off. And that's only 1 week. Out of 365 days, out of 52 weeks, they give you 1 week out of your whole career in 1 year to take off. And then if you work hard at work, that is a curse because they see how good of a worker you are and they take advantage of it. Now they're putting these high expectations of you to perform things that you're not even supposed to be doing because it's not in your job description. It's a rat race to keep climbing the ladder. Climb. That is the rat race. That is what society wants us to do.
All right, don't even get me started on retirement. I always thought that whole thing was a scam ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was in school and they tell me how you have to work till you're 60, 65 to even get any sort of relevant return on your investment of your work lifetime. It really never made much sense to me. Sorry if it's any background noise. This mic definitely picks up more background sound than the other mics do. It's a lot more clear, but it's been raining pretty hard outside, so I can't stop that. But either way, continuing on, it's kind of crazy to think how, you know, this is just the system that's put in place, and the people that genuinely don't really have to follow the system are the people that are with money. If you were born into money, school doesn't matter. You just, like, the education doesn't really matter. It matters because of knowledge, how you know, manage the money, but at the end of the day, you don't really have to worry about your bills or investments or anything when you have a steady check coming in to write off all those issues. And at the end of the day, the majority of people, the overwhelmingly vast majority of people don't have a secure amount of money coming in, And then even when you do get to a certain stage or you hit the elderly age, inflation might just wreck that for you as well. I mean, yeah, they do give you those, you know, yearly bump ups, or those, you know, every 3-year increases to kind of match inflation, but that's not always the case depending on where you're located. And even if, I mean, depending on the lifestyle that you had originally, who knows if that's going to really suit you when you hit retirement age. So this whole idea of retirement never really made sense to me. And even what that woman was touching on at the end of the video, where you work for a company so long, so hard, and you give your all to it, just to pretty much get abused and then get replaced by somebody who is just another number in the system. Because really, at the end of the day, you can kind of be a really, you know, all-star at your company, but really, if it's a big enough company, you don't matter all too much, unless you are making them so much money that maybe you might as well just make your own company at that point. But either way, I would love to hear all your guys' thoughts, opinions regarding anything involving today's topic, whether that's the corrupt system that is in place, whether you feel like you're forced to be in it, you choose to be in it, you don't look at it that way, or any of your thoughts, opinions. Feel free to leave all those down below in the comments. I always like to read those, and I always respond to the ones I see fit, as well as any other topics you would like me to cover in the near future, and anything else you know, maybe was churning in your head, things, your gears were turning while watching this video. I would love to hear all that. And I always like to give a huge shout out to everybody who rocks the content, especially those few people who go above and beyond to check out those links down below in the description. My Patreon supporters, my channel memberships, everybody rocks the content. Those are some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. If you want to throw a few dollars to the ramen fund, feel free to check out those links down there, and I definitely appreciate it. So you guys are amazing. I will catch you soon, and I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.